Hey, what up you guys, Danny B, you're watching The Trash Dish. In this video I'm going to be doing my top 10 favorite 1960s horror movies. So the 1950s and the 1960s is kind of a blind spot for me. I haven't really seen that much of them. So about like 2 or 3 weeks ago I went kind of on a deep dive and I watched a ton of these. Half of this list I did see before, but half of it is new time watches. So I probably watched about like 30 or 40 1960s horror movies, and here's my top 10 favorites. Alright, so coming up at number 10 is going to be Psycho. And, you know, Psycho is a classic. I love Psycho. And a lot of people would put this as their number one. But there is, you know, 9 other ones that I like better than this. But this is probably my favorite Alfred Hitchcock movie, either this or Vertigo. And what's kind of funny, too, is this is basically Alfred Hitchcock doing like a William Castle style movie. And it turned out to be his best one, or his most popular one. Yeah, this movie is awesome. And just like the pacing of the shocks in this is pretty good. It's like shock after shock after shock. So yeah, number 10, Psycho. All right, coming up at number 9 is going to be The Flesh and the Fiends. It's a Peter Cushing movie with also Donald Pleasance and I forget the other actor, but this is basically the story of Burke and Hare. Feels very much like a Hammer movie. I forget the company that does it. I don't think it's Amicus, but this is even like more explicit than a lot of Hammer films. Donald Pleasance is great in this. He's one of his most underrated roles, honestly. And so this is kind of a true crime movie because it was based on a real thing that happened where this doctor was paying these grave robbers to bring him bodies to do experiments on. So then they got kind of lazy about digging up the graves and sealing the bodies, so they just started murdering people and selling them to them. Yeah, awesome movie. Check this one out if you haven't seen it. Flesh and the Fiends. All right, coming up at number 8 is going to be Spider Baby, and this was a first-time watch for me. This is like the most Rob Zombie-ish movie that's not a Rob Zombie movie. This is basically like almost like House of a Thousand Corpses in the 60s. And you can see Texas Chainsaw Massacre got a lot of influence from this too. About a family of weirdos, and then they get paid a visit from, I want to say it's the cousin and then a lawyer or something who's trying to like say like that the guy taking care of them is not fit to take care of them. They all kind of have this condition where they're aging backwards and they're going to deteriorate, but they're also psychos. There's like a little girl that thinks she's a spider. Sid Haig is even in this movie, making it feel even more like a Rob Zombie movie. It's directed by Jack Hill, who did like a lot of like good Pam Grier movies. Coffee, Foxy Brown, and the Birdcage, the Big Birdcage. Lon Chaney Jr.'s in this. So when Tobe Hooper was talking about saying like he was making Texas Chainsaw Massacre a comedy, I can kind of see why, because this movie is very kind of like dark comedy. There's even a dinner scene in this. And what's funny too is they don't have anything to serve their guests, so they just get everything for the meal out of their yard. Like they cut up the grass, they serve that as like a salad. It's not even grass, it's like tumbleweeds. Saute, mushrooms that are growing in the yard. They kill a cat. That's the like main course. Then there's bugs. Yeah, very weird movie, Spider Baby. I really like that one. All right, coming up at number 7, and this was another first time watch for me, Circus of Horrors. This was a cool one. Donald Pleasance is in this one too, but he has kind of a smaller role. This is about a plastic surgeon on the run. It's kind of implied that he's a Nazi plastic surgeon, but they don't outright say that. But that's kind of the gist I got from it, because he's in Germany and then he's on the run and you don't know why, and it's right when the war is ending. So he becomes partners with the guy running the circus, and then that guy dies from an animal attack, so he takes it over. Now he's like, that's kind of his hiding thing. He's in hiding, so he runs the circus as kind of a cover story. And he's getting all these criminals to be his circus acts, like prostitutes with scars. He's like, I'll fix your scars up if you want to be in my circus. So here's what happens is, once they double cross him, once they go like, I'm going to leave because you're not making me the top billing act, he actually causes their accidents and has them die in the circus. Like a girl gets, with the knife throwing thing, he purposely stops it at a point where the knife will hit her in the head. That kind of thing. It's a pretty awesome movie. It almost feels like a Hammer film, but also kind of sleazier than a Hammer film. It's number 7, Circus of Horrors. All right, number 6 is a Hammer film. That's Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed. It's my favorite Frankenstein movie. I mean, you know, not including the old Universal ones, but my favorite Hammer Frankenstein. Peter Cushing in this one is like really kind of mean spirited, like he's like a full-on criminal in this one, to the point where he's like blackmailing people to help him out in his experiments. He's evicting people illegally from the apartment so he could use it as a lab. There's an awesome opening sequence in this where he cuts someone's head off with a scythe and then puts it in a jar. Yeah, Frankenstein, he must be destroyed. He's an absolute jerk in this one. All right, coming up at number 5 is Blood and Black Lace. My favorite Mario Bava movie. I want to say, I don't think it's the first Giallo film, but it's one of the first ones. Awesome cinematography in this movie, and awesome kind of like story and kill scenes. It was where like the guy with the black gloves is going around like a modeling agency and killing off the models. The colors in this film are very much kind of like, almost like Vertigo, like you got all the reds and greens and stuff. Very good cinematography. I think this might have been the first one he done in color too. Very cool music in this movie. Yeah, number 5, Blood and Black Lace. All right, coming up at number 4 is going to be Peeping Tom. And I do prefer Peeping Tom over Psycho. This creepy guy who kind of carries around a camera and makes snuff films. He's basically filming kind of his life, but he's gone mad from all the experiments done on him and stuff. Like his dad was filming him growing up and like causing him all kind of like torment, like throwing lizards on him and shit. I forget who directed this, but he was like a well-known director, known for doing like beautiful Technicolor films. Like I think he did one called The Red Shoes and stuff. And then out of nowhere, he kind of did this like sleazy serial killer movie, and I believe it ruined his career. But it holds up really good. I love this one, and this is one of Scorsese's favorite movies. And I wouldn't be surprised if De Palma liked it too, because it's very much kind of like in the style of a De Palma film more than Scorsese. All right, coming up at number 3 is going to be Eyes Without a Face. Classic French movie. I don't even know if you would count this as horror, but it is pretty horrific. But it's more just kind of like melancholic than like scary. And this is a girl that had her face destroyed in, I believe, a car accident. And her dad is a plastic surgeon. And kind of like Circus of Horrors, he's going around killing people to take their face and put it, like, make it her face better. And then the mask in this that she wears is the obvious inspiration for Michael Myers. It's very like emotionless, and you know, it's an all-white mask. If you added some hair to it, it would look like Michael Myers. But you see her eyes really good, so maybe Halloween H2O Michael Myers. But yeah, beautiful movie, very kind of melancholic, and then some pretty graphic surgery scenes and stuff. All right, coming up at number 2 is Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. This was a first time watch for me. I always knew about this movie because this is one of my grandfather's favorite movies. I never seen it. I always thought it was about a baby. This has Betty Davis and Joan Crawford in it. And, you know, Betty Davis, I know her from the old Warner Brothers, like, gangster movies, like Marked Woman and stuff. So it was kind of a shock to see her like this. She's all haggard and she's, like, psychopathic in this. This is about it, like, she was like a kid vaudeville star growing up. But now she's older, nobody remembers her, and she's like bitter and stuff. Her sister went on to become an actress and she got all the fame, but now she's in a wheelchair, so Baby Jane has to take care of her and she resents her. She's like poisoning her food and doing all this crazy stuff. She's an absolute monster, kicking the shit out of her and stuff. She's very psychotic in this movie, and fantastic performance from Betty Davis. And Joan Crawford's good in it too. Yeah, just a really good kind of like thriller movie. Number 2, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. And coming up at number 1 is going to be Night of the Living Dead. One of my favorite all-time movies. Started the whole zombie thing. Even out of all the Romero zombie movies, I think this is still my favorite. It's such a simple premise, and it's really all you kind of need from a zombie movie is people trapped in a house surrounded by zombies and they don't know how to get out. Pretty good gore in this movie. You got the zombies ripping people's intestines out and stuff. A lot of creepy stuff, you know, like the basement scene with the little girl with the shovel, and just the way it's filmed, like it's very kind of documentary style. It makes it feel a lot more real in it. I love the first 3 Romero zombie films, and then when it gets to the last 3, to like Land of the Dead and stuff, I'm like, those are okay, but it doesn't compare to the first 3. But yeah, absolute classic, Night of the Living Dead. Alright guys, that's gonna do it. That was my top 10 favorite 1960s horror movies. Let me know if you've seen any of those. Let me know some other good ones if you know of any. Honorable mention, Black Sunday from Mario Bava. That almost made the list, but I had to go with Psycho. This is Danny B. You're watching The Trash Dish. Hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Peace out.